8:36, you're listening to BBC Radio 2. There is such a buzz about the building and amongst you listeners as we welcome this morning two of our favourite actors from the screen, the big screen and the little screen, that is, and from the stage. And they both happen to be from Liverpool. They are old friends, having met on a show called Good Cop some few years ago when Jodie was just a teenager. It's Jodie Comer and Stephen Graham. Hello, guys.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
Oh, we're very excited to have you on the show, and I know that both of you are so busy at the moment, so thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Jodie, we knew you were friends with Stephen. You gave that lovely speech at the BAFTAs where you thanked him, and we could see that there was obviously, a special relationship. He's really supported you in his career. So how long have you two waited to find the right project to do together?
Oh my God. I would say since the moment Stephen introduced me to Jane, we've been asking for many, many years, like, is there anything out there that we can do together? And, there just hasn't been. So to be able to kind of join forces with Jack and Mark and be a part of this process from the very, very beginning was particularly special.
Yeah, this is such an amazing drama, written by Jack Thorne, who's an incredible writer, directed by Mark Munden. Stephen, hi, welcome back to the show, Stephen. Lovely to have you on.
Hello, love.
This is a deeply powerful piece. It's a really important piece of drama as well. What can you tell us about it, Stephen?
Just as Jodie said, it was written by Jack, who's a wonderfully prolific writer, and we wanted to find something that we could really get our teeth into. And I think originally we were planning on maybe playing brother and sister, and then Jack went away and he just wrote this wonderful piece. And Jodie will back me up, from the first draft of the script, as soon as you read it, do you know what I mean? Your heart was broken by it. And it follows this wonderful young girl who begins a new job in a care home, and then you just go on this mad, fantastic, really painful journey with this wonderful young woman who's beginning to find her feet and find out who she is in life.
Yeah, absolutely, Jodie. I mean, Sarah she's phenomenal, and I have to say congratulations on it, because there are scenes in here where I was weeping, but at the same time just wowed by your talent. My goodness me, Jodie. Tell us more about Sarah, the character of Sarah, and what she's going through.
Yeah, so when we first meet her, she's kind of defeated, We first see her at this job interview at a care home, and I think she feels herself, she has very little to offer the world. And, her parents, she's never really given her parents a big, great reason to believe in her. She didn't do well in school. She didn't particularly enjoy school. And she goes to this interview as a kind of last resort. She needs a job. She needs money. And she gets the job, and then she ends up kind of finding her calling in a way and making some really beautiful, unlikely relationships with the residents who she's caring for. And one of them being Tony, who Stephen plays so beautifully, and then COVID hits, and he kind of explores how their worlds were all turned upside down. But she's very fiery, she's got a lot of passion, and it was really great to explore that, as a young woman from Liverpool, and knowing many, many women like that in my life, it was great to be able to represent that.
Yeah, fantastic. It is. I mean, it's such a moving story, and it's such an important story for us all to watch, because we were all aware, a little bit of what was the situation was in the care homes. And actually, I know this drama will mean so much to so many people, especially a lot of the carers who were living the life that Sarah goes through, and the people she was caring for, like characters like Tony. It might be a tough watch for many people who lost loved ones in care homes, but it is such a brilliant, beautiful, important drama. And I loved it. Also, the rest of the cast, Ian Hart, David Heyman, the wonderful Kathy Tyson, and Sue Johnston.
Sue Johnston, of course, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew Schofield.
Yeah, and Andrew Schofield as well, who plays Sarah's father. How tough a sort of set was it? How, because this is an emotional story that you're telling here. Was it pretty tough filming this, Stephen?
The subject matter was, of course, you know, and like you just so beautifully said, Zoe, you know what I mean? It's people will have lost their loved ones and will be deeply affected by the whole COVID situation. But on top of that, people who had family in care homes. So we have that kind of sense of duty to try and be as honest and as truthful as possible with what we're saying, but also, you know, show the dignity and the love and the compassion that these people have for each other. And generally, if I'm really honest, that was kind of right across the board on set, you know what I mean? There was no small parts. These wonderful actors that you mentioned, you know what I mean? And Angela Griffith as well, she's fantastic in it. And everyone just came and wanted to be there because of what the piece was saying and what the story was about. And obviously there's that, you know, for me and Jodie, we get to work with legends who are the reason why we're acting today, do you know what I mean? Yeah. The likes of Drew Schofield and Sue Johnson and Ian Hart and Kathy Tyson, they're the reason they paved the way for me and Jodie to be able to do what we do, I feel personally.
Absolutely, and it is all the performances are incredible. And Jodie, you get to speak in your Liverpudlian accent.
I do.
Because it's brilliant, because you do all the accents and you do them so fantastically, and here you get to be. It's wonderful. Listen, we'll talk more. I'm going to play Diane Warren and Rita Ora for you now, wonderful listeners. We have some great connections to you guys that have been coming in from all our Radio 2 listeners that are just wonderful. By the way, help us on tomorrow night, Channel 4 at 9 o'clock. You must watch it. It's absolutely beautiful piece. More with Jodie Comer and Stephen Graham after this. We are talking to Stephen Graham and Jodie Comer. They star in Help. It's on tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on Channel 4. So many messages for you, Jodie and Stephen. Anna says, it feels a privilege to hear Jodie's own accent, having listened to all the wonderful ones she does in all the shows she does, especially Killing Eve. We love her. Jodie, is there an accent you'd rather not attempt? Are there any that are trickier than others that you're like, no thanks?
Oh, no. I mean, I'd happily attempt them all. I have to say Welsh is one that I haven't quite got yet, but I'm determined to get. That's a tricky one.
That is a tricky one.
Very hard, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Stephen, have you ever had to do a Welsh accent on the screen?
Well, some people said it was terrible, but if I'm honest, I'm going to drop a name here. And Tom Jones told me it was boss, so I'm happy with that.
Yes, Tom Jones.
Yeah, I meant to. He said he's
Tom Jones before 9 a.m.
I know. Yeah, I'm going to drop it and I'm going to leave it with you. But he said my accent was great. He said it reminded him of them scallies that he grew up with, so I was well happy with that.
What more do you
As
want?
Tom would say, that is brilliant. There we go. Stephen, also, apparently we've just seen Venom, the new movie. It's coming out I think it's out today, actually. Is it true you took the part because of your boy?
Massively, yes. I'm going to say yes. Yeah. And, and I had such a lot of fun. And I know Tom's a good friend and I wanted to work with Andy Serkis, but predominantly it was because our Alfie said, Dad, you've got to do it, please.
Yes. Oh, and it is so good. Jodie, you have been spotted filming, I have to hold my chest, the final series of Killing Eve. We may need therapy. It's going to be an emotional moment on set when you guys finish the series. How much does that role mean to you, Jodie?
Oh, I mean, I've spent 4 years with this character and this crew, a lot of the crew have come back year in, year out. So it's such a beautiful atmosphere on set, and to think we're not, we've always kind of had that security of going, oh, it's all right, we're going to be back next year, and, kind of playing around again. And it's kind of strange to think that won't be happening. But we have we're about to start shooting the final 2 episodes. Yeah, so I've got a little way to go before I can, kind of start with the upset or thinking about it too much.
Oh, we have loved it. I might actually watch them all again just before, just to spoil myself, actually.
Little recap.
Little recap. Just such, and obviously on the big screen now as well, absolutely smashing stuff. Quickly, Stephen, I must ask you as well about Boiling Point. We touched upon this when you came on to talk about Life. Well, it's coming very soon. This is quite an incredible film that you and Hannah have been on board.
Yeah, it really was. to be honest with you, so it was something we were involved with right at the very beginning. We even made a short film to try and get it funded for a feature. It was never really our main aim, but Phil Valentini, who's the director, his agent loved it, said, right, let's make a feature of it. And it's all one shot. You know, we made it for next to nothing. It's a completely diverse cast from all different backgrounds and ethnic origins, you know what I mean? And it's a really fair representation of a kitchen in London. So I'm really proud of it, really pleased that, one, we got it made for one, which is a massive achievement. And two, I think I can say it's going to be shown at the London Film Festival, which is massive for us. Do you know what I mean? Just a little production company. It really is.
No, that is phenomenal. I'm very quickly going to play Martha Reeves and the Vandellas Dancing in the Street, and then we have some lovely Liverpool connections to both of you from our listeners, and then we will let Stephen and Jodie go because we know they're very, very busy people. We are in great company this morning, listeners. So much love coming in for Stephen Graham and Jodie Comer. Jodie, we haven't even had a chance to talk about The Last Duel, which we can't wait to see you with Adam Driver and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, which sounds brilliant. I've seen the trailer, looks phenomenal. But very quickly, before we let you guys go, we have a couple of callers on the line. We've had everybody sharing their connections with the two of you all morning. And on line one, I do believe we have Susan. Is that Susan there? Hello, Susan.
Hello.
Hello, Susan. Welcome to The Breakfast Show. What is your connection to Jodie Comer?
I was Jodie's drama teacher at St. Julie's in Liverpool.
Oh my goodness me.
Hi, Miss.
Hi, Jodie.
I still will always have to call you Miss. It's never going to be any other way. How are you?
I love that you call her Miss still. How is it for you, Susan, to sit and watch one of your finest students up there on the telly and on the big screen?
Just obviously very, very proud, but, you know, from the age of 12, I knew Jodie had that something special, to be honest with you. And when I got a phone call from the BBC to take some children for an audition for a radio play, Jodie and a couple of others I knew deserved to have a go. So I took Jodie in a taxi down to the Liverpool Everyman, and she did the audition. I went back to school, she went home, and then I got a phone call in school to tell her she'd got the part. And that was the start of it all, really.
And that was the beginning of a beautiful story. Oh, Susan, lovely to speak to you. Nice to put you two in touch again. And Tony, we have a Tony on the line. Tony, what is your connection to Stephen Graham, Tony?
Hello, I went through school with Stephen and was in the play where the Treasure Island play when he got spotted.
Oh, I've been sent photos of this, Stephen.
Oh no! Yeah.
Can you send me them, Zoe?
Yes, I will.
Shut up, you.
I'll send them to you. These are amazing. Tony, who did you play?
I was Long John Silver, and I was a lot better. Hello, mate. I was a lot better.
Mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad.
Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. Stephen doing a swashbuckling pose at the front of that picture. Do you remember it well, Stephen?
I do, yeah, I really do. And Tony was a good mate of mine, do you know what I mean? It was great, that school. It was brilliant. They always pushed drama in Overdale. I really enjoyed it. And Drew Schofield came to watch the play. And he said to me, Mum and Dad, I think your lad's got some talent. And then we kind of looked to get me into the Everyman. He said, I suggest you take him to the Everyman. And from that, obviously, that was kind of where it all came, really, if I'm honest.
We've loved everybody's Liverpool connections. Tony, lovely to catch up with you. I will send those pictures to Jodie because she needs to see them because they are absolutely
nice to speak to you, Adol.
Yeah, and you.
Oh,
lad.
Like old mates.
Mate. See you soon.
Take care. Thank you so much to Susan and to Tony and all the lovely people who had connections to you guys this morning. Help, starring Jodie and Stephen, is on Channel 4, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And if you can't watch tomorrow night, it'll be on the Channel 4 hub, you know, where you can watch things back. Do watch it. It's so beautifully done. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Stephen and Jodie. We love you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us on.
Take care. And hopefully see you soon with all the new projects. Jodie Comer and Stephen Graham, everybody. How wonderful. I might share those pictures of a very young Stephen Graham as a swashbuckler there, and Tony as Long John Silver. Where's your parrot, Tony?